a shirt collar worn over the jacket's lapels. Chances are you've seen this look. Maybe it was in the movie Scarface. Perhaps it was a picture of the king, Elvis Presley. A younger Jack Nicholson strutting his stuff. Or maybe you were watching the movie Ocean's 11 and you noticed the style that Brad Pitt was pulling off. In any case, I'm sure a few of you thought it was cool. Those with a little bit of gray hair were maybe having flashbacks to the 70s, which by the way, from what I hear, was an amazing decade to live through. Get down tonight. Get down tonight. And then there's those of you that think that there is a special place in hell reserved for men who try to bring this look back. But what if I were to tell you this look is over 100 years old? And what if I were to make the case that wearing a shirt collar over your jacket lapels is actually a bold fashion statement? And what if I gave you the exact details on how to pull off this look? Well, gentlemen, that is the subject of today's video. Now, first up, let's clear up a little bit of misinformation. The type of collar that is going to have the elongated points is called a Barrymore collar or a dagger collar. I've seen it called a Cuban collar because Cuban shirts, especially those with 3-inch or longer collar points, can be worn in this style. But a Cuban collar is technically a revere or a camp collar. In general, this collar style is going to be much more relaxed and laid back. It's characterized by a notched lapel, and most important with what we're talking about here, doesn't have a collar stand. What this means is the Cuban collar is made to have a flat appearance, hence why it works so well if you want to wear it over your jacket lapels. But the main collar type I'm going to talk about today is the Barrymore collar, also known as the dagger collar. Now, technically speaking, I am not wearing a Barrymore collar. Those are going to have at least 4-inch long collar points. The collar points on this shirt are only 3 inches, which may seem long, but believe it or not, can be found on a lot of point collars that you buy off the rack. Now, that's important for 2 reasons. First up, you don't have to have a specialty shirt made to actually try this look. You can go through your closet, measure out the collar points. As long as you've got over 2.5 inches of collar point length, you're going to probably be able to pull off this look, or at least get a semblance of what it would look like if you put the combination together. The second reason why that's important is because we're talking about point collars, not cutaway collars. A lot of people think that this look, because it's so spread out, is a cutaway collar. And in case you don't remember collar anatomy, let me go ahead and pull up this quick chart for you. A dagger collar is going to have at least 4 inches of point length, but you're going to find a lot of point collars are going to have 3 inches. And when I say point collars, that means the collar spread. The angle right here is in general going to be between 25 and 55 degrees. Now, once a collar point starts going out beyond 90 degrees to 110, 130 degrees, this is a cutaway collar. And although you could have a cutaway collar with longer collar points and maybe get something close to this look, I would advise against it. It's just going to be too far out there. That being said, if you find a vintage cutaway that's got those longer points and you love it and you think, hey, this is great, then own it. Go for it. That being said, let's get back to the name and to the man that originated, that pioneered this style back in the 1920s. Now, for some of you movie buffs, this name is going to be familiar. A lot of you guys probably have never heard of him. John Barrymore. Born in 1882, this actor had a career that spanned decades. From the early 1900s to the 1940s, Barrymore was known for his roles in high drama, and his portrayal of Hamlet in 1922 led to him being called the greatest living American tragedian. Who knew? I didn't even know that was a title. The point is, in the silver screen, early Hollywood, he was a big deal. And as you can imagine, the styles, the clothing, everything this guy wore, the styles that he pushed, all of this was captured in the newspapers and magazines of the day. Now, in the early 1920s, he started wearing his white shirt's longer collar, one that he had specialty made with longer points, on the outside of his jacket, over those lapels, and this started grabbing people's attention. A style feature that was right next to the face, it actually did a pretty good job of drawing attention, separating him from the crowd, and when people saw this, they were interested. It was definitely a bold look, not for everybody, but it just goes to show that Barrymore had the clout, he had the status, he had the ability to wear pretty much whatever he wanted. Now, at this point, did he start a trend? Did he start the fad? Now, there were a few people that were probably wearing it, but this was something that was his signature look. And let's face it, in the 1920s, 1930s, this was a big deal. Everyone was pretty much conforming to certain looks. This was definitely a bit over the top, and I think it just goes to show Barrymore's status and his ability to wear whatever the heck he wanted to. Now, at about the same time, but I wasn't able to find a link, we also saw the rise of the Zoot suit. And if you know anything about history and protest, the Zoot suit played basically, it was sending a signal, hey, we weren't going to conform, we were were going to wear our own type of suit. But here's what's interesting. You can see a lot of guys wearing Zoot suits actually pulling off this particular way of wearing the collar over the jacket lapels. Coincidence? Perhaps. Maybe the two influenced each other. Who knows? In any case, wearing the shirt collar over the lapels was definitely seen as something anti-establishment. Now, throughout the 1940s, we saw a lot of expression through style being muted, of course, by World War II. But in the 1950s, we saw two very well-known musicians, Jerry Lee Lewis and Elvis Presley, sporting this look, and all of a sudden, again, making it cool, bringing it back to the limelight. During the 1960s, we'll see musicians like Mick Jagger pulling off the look. And then in the 1970s, the look exploded. Now, the 1970s, especially in men's fashion, is labeled as a disaster. But I do think if you look back, it was a time definitely they were experimenting, having fun. And when you look at the collars on shirts, you actually look at the lapels on jackets, you look at tie widths, everything in the 1970s, it seems like, was big. So it made sense that we would see these collars popping up again and again, especially in bright, vibrant colors that would grab your attention. That being said, if the collar size was big, it didn't always have to be bright. In fact, going back to that white formal color over a dark suit, all of a sudden could really still provide a bit of pop and definitely stood out, especially when you compare it to the traditional way in that most men wore a shirt and jacket. Now, during the early 1980s, it seemed like all of a sudden the collars started to be a bit more subdued. They started becoming smaller. You saw a few movies in which they were still popping up over the jacket, but the look overall started to fade. So all this begs the question, why do I think that this collar is going to come back? Why do I think in the next 5 years, we are going to see men starting to sport the shirt collar over the jacket lapels more and more? First up, let's look at history. So the collar arose in the 1920s, 1930s is when it started to become big. Guys, that's a 50-year cycle. From the 1920s and 30s to the 1970s, add 50 years to that, all of a sudden we're going to be in the mid-2020s. Gents, I think we're set for this style to come back because fashion moves in circles. It's a repeat of what has happened in the past. And I think that designers are going to be looking for something new. You're going to get a few, influencers, actors that are just going to start pulling this off a bit more. And all of a sudden, for certain individuals, it's going to be a look that's really casual, at the same time, a bit dressier than simply just wearing a t-shirt and jeans. And that's the second reason I think this look can make a resurgence is because it is casual. Yeah, you're dressing up, you're wearing a jacket, and there are different options out there, but it's a more casual jacket. Maybe it's going to be an unlined jacket. You're wearing this casual shirt, and again, you don't have to go over the top with the color. Seriously, I actually kind of like this look on me. I'm looking at myself here in the camera. I'm like, I could pull this thing off. Now, gents, if you like this look, do me a favor, smash the like button. If you don't like the look, do me a favor and smash the like button. Guys, when you engage with these videos, it helps more men find the videos, and I appreciate it. Now, seriously, we're seeing men's styles become more casual and more casual. So a lot of guys, they've still got jackets, they've still got these shirts, and yeah, you're not going to be pulling off the necktie. It's very open, it's very comfortable. As guys build up their confidence, they want to stand out. Guys, because they embrace their style more. I mean, 15 years ago, the word metrosexual was thrown around. Nobody says that word anymore because it's cool now for men to care about the way they dress and they take care of themselves. So to me, it just seems like a natural extension that we're going to start looking back and bringing in new ways to wear things that we already have. And if you agree, do you like this look or not? Guys, I want to hear from you down in the comments below. You know I love learning from you. And does anyone actually pull off this look besides me in my office? So the third reason is men's confidence in style, which I kind of hit on in that last end bit of that point. But I wanted to be really clear because yes, I talked about everything is becoming more casual, but I do see men stepping into their own, not being afraid to wear clothing. And again, I just see so many of you guys, you've got these pieces already, so why not put them together in a new way? Now at this point, you may be wondering, how does my style measure up? What actions do I need to take? Well, gents, if you haven't taken our style quiz over at Real Men Real Style, I'm going to link to it down in the description below. This is a free and fun quiz in which we ask you questions and then we give you a breakout of your style score and areas that you can improve. But if that's not enough, if you're a man that wants to take action, you're tired of watching all of these videos and not actually following through, going through and buying the clothing, revamping your wardrobe, improving your image, then you need to check out our course, The Style System. Over the last decade, this has been the internet's go-to professional men's style course in which we teach you exactly what you need to know. The goal of The Style System is to give you the information you need to take action so that you can become your best dressed self. Seriously, gents, you're going to walk into a room and unless I'm present, you're going to be the best dressed guy there. Seriously, I've met men who have gone through my course and they put me to shame at times because yeah, I dressed down and these guys came in and they owned the room. But seriously, gents, check out the course. It's all about action. It's about you taking the steps to become the man you know yourself to be. All the links to everything I just mentioned down in the description of today's video. Now, what if you want to get a true Barrymore shirt made? So again, you're going to have those collar points at least 4 inches, but probably closer to 5 if you're going to go through the trouble of getting something custom made. I will tell you, shirt collars are a hassle for a lot of local tailors, so you want to go to a shirt manufacturer, somebody that actually does make custom shirts, and they can actually make custom collars like this. In addition, remember that angle doesn't need to be 90 degrees. You don't want it 110 degrees. You want it about 30 degrees. This would be, if you were to button it up, it would look like one of those longer point collars, like what was his name, Pesci wore in Goodfellas. Yeah, don't go for that look. Make sure if you are going to get something like that, just get one and see what you think of the look. I would advise going in white or go with a darker color that you already rotate through your wardrobe. Another option is to go over on Etsy, to go over to eBay, look for some vintage shirts, again, that have those longer collar points, and just grab some of those and see what you think of the look. Now, if you end up getting the shirt, how to style it, what to wear it with. So technically, you could actually wear it by itself, just wear it open, especially if it's a louder shirt, grabs a bit of attention, you really want those collars to shine, then just simply wear that. The next easy option, what I'm wearing here, is going to be a simple sports jacket. A lot of you guys either have them already in your wardrobe, or you can go pick one up at a thrift store. You can go into a menswear shop and try it on and see if you can find something that's going to work for you. In general, I think owning a sports jacket is one of the wisest investments because it builds up the shoulders, can slim up the chest area, just really gives you a more masculine silhouette, and it's a step below a suit in terms of formality, but it's going to fit a lot of situations in which you want to dress up, but at the same time, yeah, you want to separate yourself from all the guys wearing just dress shirts and neckties. Another option, and this is going to be really 1970s, is to go with a safari jacket. It's a particular type of jacket. You can find them out there. I know Suit Supply carries a few of them, but yeah, go to a vintage store, see what you can find. Tons of them made from different materials. Yeah, they were big in the 1970s, not so big nowadays, but you can find them if you look for them. And what about with a suit? So definitely, if you wear this look with a suit, you go from a more casual, wear a pair of loafers, maybe no socks during the warmer weather, and just let it be open. Don't worry about, don't have to throw in a pocket square. Don't worry about that coordination. Instead, let the collar do the talking. And you may want to even bring in a necklace. I didn't happen to have any here in the office, but yeah, I know a lot of you guys love necklaces. And if that is your thing, check out this video right here, guys. I talk about how to wear a necklace and look amazing. I'm really proud of this video. Had a lot of fun with it, got into a lot of detail, and I think that if you got this bare neck area, you want to bring in a necklace, but you've never known how, this is the video you want to check out. Boom, right here.